Hello everyone and welcome to Golden Nova's First Reacts, where I react first to all the things you want to see reacted to first, as long as I'm the first person you come to react to things first. Folks, you know I had to talk about this today. You know that I had to talk about the Dogmatika support. When branded stuff shows up, I gotta talk about it, which is an ironic statement considering what we'll be covering at the end of the video. Fleur is back, kind of. It looks like she's still riddled with all of the not even just like whole scarring, just like the dimensional chains are still about her. Last time we saw her, she was being taken away as Lulu, still possessed by Quem, and the party is chasing after her as we speak. Does this mean that Fleur is safe? We'll have to check the card art to see if there's anything that corroborates that mechanically, but considering all of the chain imagery, I think we might not be out of the woods yet. There's also this really sick trap card art over here that I presume is depicting all of like the saints, like as their souls reaching out to this body, the embodiment of Quem. The redheaded girl down here is the one from like the trap card that no one plays, that is supposed to be the beginning of Quem's revival. This is like, I gotta check to see what's going on here. So first up we have Dogmatika Fleurdelis the Thunderous, a level 8 light spellcaster with 2500 attack and defense. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. First effect, during the main phase, if a monster was special summoned from the extra deck, is on the field, you can special summon this card from your hand. Pretty Fleurdelis. Second, if this card is special summoned from the hand, you can set a Dogmatika trap card from your deck. It can be activated this turn while your opponent controls a fusion, synchro, xyz, or link monster with 2500 or more attack. Okay. So this is kind of the inverse of regular Fleurdelis, right? That one negates a monster when it comes into play. This one is empowered when there is another one that's in play, but our opponent has to control it in this instance. We could technically summon it from hand if any extra special summon monsters on the board, but now this works best if our opponent has a big one, so it's specifically retaliating against that. But it only sets Dogmatika trap cards. That's kind of wild. Card database. Now the trap card I was talking about with the revival of Quem and the red-headed lass, that is a Dogmatika trap card, so it ties in that way. Okay, filters. So there's Dogmatika Encounter, which is the one that summons a Dogmatika or Albaz from hand, or adds a Dogmatika or Albaz from the graveyard to hand. I don't think that's going to be useful at all. Dogmatika Genesis is the one that has the story relevance here. Target a banished synchro, xyz, fusion, or link monster, and an effect monster your opponent controls of the same type. Return that banished monster to the extra deck, and if you do, negate the effects of that monster your opponent controls. Nope, but this sets Dogmatika Punishment, and that might be and Dogmatika Turgy is a good ritual trap card if I remember correctly, but it's between Dogmatika Turgy or Punishment. The other two I'm not so sure of. But hey, free level 8 body. I think there are worse situations to be in. It's just free levels, and love to see it. Oh wait, Moby. It certainly makes summoning Lulu easier, because we do have a few pieces of level 8 material in the Dogmatika deck, but there are some of them who, like, there's a assassin dude who I wouldn't make my worst enemy run, and then there's Maximus, but to get full value out of Maximus, you're kind of shredding the extra deck, and that locks out the extra deck. There's standard Fleurdelis, but you always kind of want to hold on to standard Fleur until you have a negate going on. This one just is summoned, so you don't have to worry about you're wasting anything. I guess you kind of want to wait until your opponent has a big enough monster so you can set that Dogmatika trap card so you can get full value out of it, but even then, once you got that done, it's free materials. And then of course, it's a Dogmatika trap card, so who cares? Maybe now, because we have Quad Dogmatika Beast. That's a funny one. Quad Dogmatika Beast. You will activate one card with this card's name per turn. Target a monster in your graveyard or banishment. You cannot special summon from the extra deck until the end of your next turn. Also send a Dogmatika monster from your deck or a monster from your extra deck with equal or higher attack to the graveyard. And if you do, special summon the targeted monster. Okay, now that's pretty slick. This does impose the no extra deck summons for 2 turns kind of thing. Kind of like Punishment does, if I remember correctly. But it's a monster reborn, right? Like it's any monster from grave or banishment. And you're still enabling an extra deck effect because you can send something that's big enough. That's pretty good. Okay, I think that's a worthwhile enough trap card. I said all that stuff about how there wasn't a trap card that Fleurdelis can get, and then they just made sure to print that right there just to spite me, I guess. What the heck? Well, I certainly wouldn't... Seeing the effects... I don't know, right? Because I think the whole character arc of Fleurdelis was like getting away from the whole hating the extra deck kind of nonsense. And we kind of see it with the Sword Soul version of her, where it's just like she counters most special summons in general. But now she's back to doing Dogmatika stuff, so she could just be falling back on old training. She does have her Thunderbolts that she had previously, so that's like her standard kit. If she was under control, she would have like the Red Lightning of Lulu Lilith, so I suppose maybe she kind of fades in and out of it, you know. She broke out of it once. There you go, Moby, thank you. Maybe she can do it for short periods of time. I think that's the closest thing to what's going on right now, especially since she still has the big triangle portals all over, so she ain't freed of it for sure. This trap card artwork is so good. What the heck? Okay. Anyway, we got more to react to. I can't be sticking around here. So these cards are pretty nifty. Not huge, but they're nifty. Next up are the K9 cards. K9 is a just fantabulous deck. Happy to see that we're getting some more support for it. Even though, once again, I must remind everyone, even though we have the hot animal people, they are cops. So, you know, keep a healthy distance. Remember that fantasy is different from reality. K904 Noroi is a level 5 Earth Machine monster, 2200 attack, 1500 defense. You can only use the second and third effect of this card's name each once per turn. If your opponent has 2 or more cards in their hand, you can normal summon this card without attributing. If this card is normal summoned, you can special summon a non-machine K9 monster from your deck. And if you do, you can't special summon from the extra deck while you control that face-up monster except K9s. And you can send a K9 card you control to the graveyard to look at your opponent's hand. Ooh. Okay, so I do think that's huge. I legitimately think looking at your opponent's hand, and I don't think I'm spouting any strange esoteric knowledge, looking at your opponent's hand is good. You have to play a lot of weird cards a lot of the times to enable doing that. A Pointer of the Red Lotus is a card that is absolute dog water, but it will show you the length people will go to for hand knowledge, and then maybe doing a little bit of extra stifling on the side. K9s have their continuous spell card, which isn't necessary for their long-term success, but it is helpful to... I think it's a helpful search card to get things started. So if you can send them to the graveyard to learn what your opponent's hand traps are or what their follow-up plays are, this is nasty. So normal summon this. It only triggers on normal summon, which is a little wild. But, you know, they gave it the whole you can normal summon without attributing conditions, so might as well give it a little something to be thematic. And it doesn't restrict you to making non-light Xyz monsters, which is huge. A few of them do that to kind of force a particular playline. This can just make your rank 5 light monsters no sweat. So I dig this a lot. That's incredible, especially because it gets basically any of our other K9s who all have unreal effects. And we have a new rank 5 to add to the roster here. K9 666 Jax, which appears to be the combination of our Pyro and Aqua from last set. Crazy. 2600 attack, 2500 defense, 2 level 5 monsters. If this card is Xyz summoned, or if your opponent activates a monster effect in the hand or graveyard, you can attach a material that target a monster on the field and destroy it. Okay, a canine Xyz monster that has this card as material gains this effect. Any battle damage this card inflicts to your opponent the turn they activated a monster effect in the hand or graveyard is doubled. Oh, okay. So we are taking the "you've violated the law" effect to the conclusion of "I am going to beat you to death twice as fast." That's unreal, and what we know about K9 cards, you're going to be ranking them around all the time, so being able to put this underneath our big werewolf guy, who I believe comes with some removal off the top of my head, is going to cause a lot of damage, and then when it hits the board, you just get to nuke something. These are some good additions. These are some really solid pieces. I think the deck's core mechanics are kind of the same as it was. Noroi is super helpful, but I think in general what you plan to do is the same. You're just better at doing it now, and with your legacy support, it's kind of hard to ask for more. Although I don't know if this counts as legacy support because Justice Hunters just came out. We gotta pin down what a legacy support really means. Anyway, solid. B+, maybe an A on the support. Okay, I saw your comments last time. I'm sorry. I missed the tri-brigade support. I missed branded cards. I know I'm a fake fan. I'm gonna hand in my ID later, just as soon as they make Season 2 for real. So we are seeing branded cards. None of these are really giving us information about what Season 2 is. We're just kind of getting intermission cards. That's what we saw with the Dogmatika cards just now. Let's see if the tri-brigade cards offer any more information. Wonderful cosplayer, incredibly talented, all these stuff that's just Farrajeet. No one told me that Farrajeet was in real life. That's incredible. All of you were supposed to tell me this. Okay. Tri-brigade Arms Mouser, link to Earth Beast Link Monster, 1800 attack, bottom left and bottom right arrows. Requires 2 tri-types as material, so Beast, Beast Warrior, and Wing Beast. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name once per turn. If this card is link summoned, you can send 2 tri-brigade cards with different names from your deck and or extra deck to the graveyard except a copy of this card. Also, you cannot special summon from the extra deck for the rest of the turn except tri-type monsters. And if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target a face-up monster on the field and change it to face-down defense position. That seems wild. That seems incredible. This only triggers on link summon, which is a little funky. So, for those of you who are not familiar, the tri-brigade main deck monsters all have an effect where you can do, colloquially, what's called a grave link. You banish any number of Beast, Beast Warrior, or Winged Beast from your graveyard to summon a Beast, Beast Warrior, or Winged Beast link monster from your extra deck that matches the link rating. So, like, if you banish 3, you could get a link 3, that kind of thing. But it is a special summon. It is not a link summon. So, this only triggers when you're link summoning. That being said, they made the materials generic ones, which means that the primary draw of tri-brigades, being that they can splash into basically any of these decks, you can link them in any, like, I hesitate to say Blackwing, but like Lyrilisc deck, or the Beast Warrior, I don't know, Glad Beast, I don't know, whatever. Whatever you want, you can link into Mouser and then send 2 more tri-brigade cards. And it's any of them from like the entire theme, so monsters, spells, trap cards. From the extra deck is 2, so this can send like Bucephalus, which, if I remember correctly, has a graveyard effect that was otherwise kind of trapped in there. You can send, like all the link monsters have something when sent to graveyard too, so you can send original Farrajeet to cycle through cards. You can just send Nerval to get you, you can send Kit to send a Nerval to get you a search. This is Bonkerinos, and then when this gets linked off, you get to Book of Moon something. This is an incredible extender. The special summon from extra deck restriction, of course, can be a little rough, but if you're building the deck around tri-types, you might not necessarily care. So, zoom in a little bit here. Golly. Okay, so I've been seeing art of this for the last 2 days. It is still like a rifle. But she's grabbing this one by like the the muzzle of the sniper gun, which has like some rings around it, it does kind of look like the Bucephalus, like it has some rings on it that look kind of like this. I don't know if it's ready to shoot that gun though. Like I'm not a gun safety expert, but I think even in my Moby, thank you. Okay, he could knock over the camera. I had to make sure. I feel like that's just not a proper stance to be firing your big super weapon from. But you're looking amazing. All right, no one can take that away from you. You're looking savage. Okay, tri-brigade hammer. Look at that thing. All right. Quick play spell card. You can activate one of these effects, but you can only use each once per turn. This is a really nifty trend that we've been seeing among cards recently. Instead of hard once per turns, it's card with multiple modes that effectively have once per turns. So if you have 2 tri-brigade hammers, you could activate both effects on a single turn. I think this is really cool. Modal cards are already really strong, and they've combined that with a bit of flexibility in allowing you to activate more than one. So that's just a little something I like. It adds any tri-brigade spell or trap card from your deck to your hand, or banish any number of tri-brigade cards from the graveyard. Better summon a tri-brigade link monster from your extra deck with a link rating equal to the number banished, ignoring its summoning conditions. Also, you cannot special summon from the extra deck for the rest of the turn, except Beast Warrior and Winged Beast monsters. Okay, so this is I explained the grave linking. It comes with the grave linking effect, though I believe ignoring summoning conditions is new. So this allows us to get Bucephalus even when we would have made its minimum amount. Yeah, so tri-brigade arms Bucephalus 2 is like a link 5 for the deck, which would normally be easy to make with the grave linking effect, but it can't be special summoned from the extra deck unless you have 3 or more tri-brigade spell or trap cards in your graveyard. Hammer says I don't care. There's some other spell or trap cards we can get. Airborne Assault was one that I always thought had a lot of potential. Target a tri-type to special summon a tri-type from your deck in defense position with a different type and less attack, but its effects are negated. That's pretty good. Tri-brigade, oh no. It gets tri-brigade Revolt. I could look at any other of these options and give reasons why they would be nifty grabs off of Hammer, and all of them would pale in comparison to tri-brigade Revolt. Just summon any number of tri-types from your graveyard or your banishment, and then link off a tri-brigade using all those monsters. It's Peem. It's Peem. It's 2 Peem. Nothing else. I mean, maybe tri-brigade Roar is cool. I feel like it has a lot of effects depending on what card we send for it, but like, I don't know, man. Revolt, it's so free. It gets you a link monster. It re-triggers all of your sent to graveyard effects. It gets your cards out of the banishment. It's just good. I also like that because Hammer is a quick play spell, we can activate during our opponent's turn and then get out a copy of Shrag for the banish at that point. That's pretty solid. I like them. I like these cards. Once again, it's another situation where it's not like a huge change up, at least as far as I know. I talk about a lot of different decks. I ain't an expert in many of them. So, Tri-Brigade Truthers, let me know if these have a humongous impact on the deck, or if these are just interesting additions to help smooth things along. Same thing with Canine and Dogmatika. I'm fairly certain that the Canine cards are pretty spectacular and are going to elevate the deck a lot. And I'm curious to see what we can do with the new Dogmatika card. These are pretty solid. So yeah, down below, give me your knowledge. I want to hear what your thoughts are. What did I miss? What did you discover here that you're looking forward to playing? And until the next time, Konami drops some juicy spoilers. I will see all of you next time. Bye-bye.
Today's episode is brought to you by Dragon Shield. Get the sleeves as strong as dragon scales that even come with their own lore, and save 5% on your order by using the coupon code GoldenNova at checkout.
It was also brought to you by my lovely patrons, including this month's illustrious Quasar Commanders, Upstairs Media, and Simic Toadstool, Nebula Navigators, 3rd Dynasty, 50 Gigabytes, Ada Basilisk, Adam Zajdel, Ancient Wizard, Andrew Newman, Battle Axe, Kane Senpai, Charlie Mercury, Chibi Gohan, Christopher Fuss, Clockswork, Comrade Copperbottom, Dr. Reaper, Eric, Frankie, Garland Chaos, Green Knight, Great Big Pillock, Groog, Hairbear, Harry the Ominous Benefactor, Iron Zero, Iskander 711, Carp, Marion James E. Picata, Meme King, Millennia Asta, Muse Clark, Neon Yaminair, Orozco 09096, Panther J, Pat Boos, Rebel King Lucifer, Red Eyes Jackalow, RJ the Jank Monarch, Sonic 21 Blast, The Critic of Innocence, Thievery Coast, and The Wizard Moose, Cosmic Crusaders Ally Vatnia, Animasta, and Thorak, A Random Pup, Blaze Rider, Blitzwolf, Chaz Ghost, Christopher Fuss, again, Chris B, Cool Trainer Dark, Divine Dragon Felgrin 4123, Dr. Reaper RIP, again, Eki Bullock, Eva Padilla, Herbal D, Inblink, Kale the Dragon, Lobomaru 02, Manga Pages, Martin Moore 2468, Natiel the Alexander, Nitromo, Not Al Gore, Nyx, Obsidian, Pombo, Rhyme Kairos, Shizuka Nijimura, Sir Knight JCB, Sphelia, Stephen Huntsman, Stephen Williamson, The Legendary Raven, The Phantom Knights of Shitted Pants, The Queen of Time, The Gene, Tiger X2476, Tristan O'Meara and Zaldreka, as well as the lovely Starlight Explorers you see on screen now. If you'd like to help me in my journey to cover all of Yu-Gi-Oh's archetypes, get my videos early, be a part of these credits and other awesome perks, it would mean the world to me if you would check out the link to my Patreon down in the description, or consider joining as a YouTube member.